Guys, welcome to the channel. So today in this video we are going to discuss about hypothesis testing. Hypothesis testing. So this hypothesis testing is basically used to make some assumptions and to test whether that assumptions were correct or not. For example, if there is a person who tells that the average height is average height is 180 centimeters, but there is a doubt about his saying and we want to find whether it was correct or wrong. So my question is here to find whether or to prove the person who told 180 centimeter, his aim is to prove that it is 180 centimeters. That means his aim is height is equal to 180 centimeters. And how he can be wrong is that if it is not 180 centimeters, he could be wrong. So this is the best example why we will use hypothesis testing. So in hypothesis testing also we can use the similar kind of structures, whereas first we will have null hypothesis which is represented by HO. So in this null hypothesis, what we will do is that we will write what is being told by the person. That means what is told by him is that H is equal to 180. That means height is 180. After this null hypothesis, we have to write alternate hypothesis, which is represented by HA, which we might write it as H is not equal to 180. And in the third step, they will give us some significance value or confidence value in the problem statement itself. We are going to write that significance value, and the final step is experimentation. We have to do some kind of experiments to actually find that whether null hypothesis is true or false. If null hypothesis is true, we can conclude that this hypothesis is true, but if it is false, we can say that this null hypothesis is false, so that we can reject null hypothesis and we can stick on with the alternate hypothesis. So this is all about null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. So while doing this null hypothesis, what we might occur is that, so this is the null hypothesis. So basically we can accept or reject the null hypothesis after the final experimentational process. So we may occur 4 different points. That is, we reject null hypothesis, that means HO, when it is false. So that means after doing all the experimentations, we will get some conclusion that whether H is equal to 180 or not. So we will reject the null hypothesis. That means H is equal to 180. That means we will reject that H is equal to 180 when it is false. And sometimes we may also reject null hypothesis when it is true. So here in the first example, we will reject null hypothesis when it is false. But if we reject the null hypothesis when it is true, then this could be something called as an error. And there is a significantly one name also for this error called as type 1 error. Type 1 error. That means even though H is equal to 180, we will reject the null hypothesis. So it is called as type 1 error. And also we may have third point, maybe like this. We accept null hypothesis when it is false. That means we are going to accept that h is equal to 180 even though it is false. So what happens here is this is also going to be my error, and I can take it as type 2 error. But also we have another point, which is another scenario that we may accept null hypothesis when it is true. So here there is no error, and this is going to be the correct point. And the first point, we reject null hypothesis when it is false. This is also correct point. And in this example, we only have 2 points where we are doing in the reverse way. That means although in the first type of error, if it is true or if h is equal to 180 also, we are rejecting the null hypothesis. So that is going to be my type 1 error. And in the type 2 error, even though h is not equal to 180, we are accepting the null hypothesis. So that's why it is going to be my type 2 error. So this is all about hypothesis testing. So this hypothesis testing is basically used while calculating few metrics like Z test, or else while doing F test or T test, chi-square test, or else say anything like ANOVA test. I will discuss about all these problems using null hypothesis, alternate hypothesis, and experimentation. That means hypothesis testing, and will explain in further future upcoming videos. So that I would highly recommend you to follow my channel and like this video so that you can never miss any of my future updates about all these videos. So this is all about today's video, and let us meet in the next video where we are going to cover about all these tests using hypothesis testing. Thank you.